Aloha, y'all. It is Thursday, Thursday, the 8th of October. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Holy tits, it just keeps going. It doesn't get any slower. Days just bleed at this point for me. I don't know about y'all. Today is a red spectral Skywalker day, guided by space, according to the galactic calendar, dream time stuffs, which is beautiful and awesome and interesting. Mayan astrology kind of based stuffs. Check it out if you haven't. Red Spectral Skywalker, guided by space. Today is a throat chakra day, i.e. Vishuddha chakra. So if you're going to be doing chakra chants, if you're going to be balancing your chakras and stuff, focus on this. Do them all. Do the mudras, which are the hand positions. Do the mantras, which are the Lam Ram. Today would be Ham, Ham. Do the tone. This is in the key of G, but the point is, once you do this throat chakra kind of clavicle, throat area thing, you will find yourself that much more able to articulate truth. I was just spitting truth with my fiance for a little bit, and I have to say, just for a moment, I love Haley Grotus, soon to be Kincaid, although I don't demand she has my last name. She is such a powerful force, and I am better for knowing her and having her in my life. So thank you, Haley. I love you so much. So today is the 8th, Thursday. Sun is in Libra. Moon is at 29 degrees, 34 minutes, Gemini. It's about to kick out of Gemini. The moon is in Gemini. I could say that it's entering Cancer. I mean, it's so close that I probably should be saying today's forecast in a sense of Cancer, not Gemini, so I might do that. I'm debating. Mercury's in Scorpio. Venus is in Virgo. Mars retrograde in Aries. So let's go ahead and pull some cards for the day. Hopefully you're all doing well. Unlike the presidential debate, which I watched, I watched maybe 5 or 10 minutes of this last night, vice presidential debate. Much more adult oriented, seemingly, and still dry and bland, and I'm not even on half the paradigm stuff. They're living in fear and division and scarcity, which is not where we are. It's where we're going. Ha! The devil card. The devil's in the details, right? So I'm kind of just rambling, but the system is changing, y'all, and it doesn't really matter who you vote for in a sense. The devil is the Capricorn card, right? It's like ruling the world. So these leaders, these illuminated ones. When I say Illuminati, there's good Illuminati, I guess, and bad Illuminati, but the ones, the cabals, like the people who have been at the top, the Dick Cheneys of the world, that kind of shit, that ain't gonna keep happening. So we can take a deep breath. But today, and Haley knows, temptation, right? The devil, embracing your inner trickster. You have a devil inside of you. You have a trickster. In a weird way, the devil is a chaos creature, right? Haley and I pulled the third gene key today, which was talking about chaos quite a bit, and innocence. And the whole point of the story of the Garden of Eden is a loss from innocence to what? Experience. Through temptation, through the knowledge of good and evil, all this kind of stuff. It's a metaphor, possibly historical, who knows? I don't want to get into that. But the point is, we have an inner trickster, so don't deny your dark Kermit, or else your dark Kermit will get crazy. Integrate your dark Kermit. Giving in to temptations, making choices based off impulse rather than desire. So maybe you just do something out of habit because you're used to it impulsively as opposed to like actually wanting something. And deceiving yourself, feeling hopeless. Hopefully we don't feel hopeless today, but it might, if people watched that debate last night, it might have brought up quite a bit about the world situation and the American political situation that caused us to feel less than enthused. The devil, I am the. Why did I put it down? The devil, I am the master deceiver, and it is time to break the spell. Amen. It's time to break the spell. We've been living in a yuga of destruction, and where right is wrong and wrong is not laudable, and freedom past a point is chaos, and it's all chaos anyway. But the point, in the sense of like orders beyond our understanding as humans with a prefrontal cortex. But maybe right now it's time to snap out of it. Snap out of the doesn't mean capitalism is totally bad, but like the illusions of capitalism. Doesn't mean democracy is totally bad, but the illusions of democracy. Doesn't mean substances are bad, but the illusion of addictions and hedonism. Doesn't mean, you see what I'm saying? Doesn't mean sex is bad, but like the illusion of nymphomania or whatever. Pornography addiction, stuff like that. The devil, I am the master deceiver, and it is time to break the spell. Set in the alluring psychedelic vision of post-apocalyptic world, This card pays homage to the spirit of Bowie's Diamond Dogs. The devil is personified in a similar vein to Bowie, punk, trickster, Halloween Jack, but he is cast as an amoral being of artificial intelligence. I actually, every morning now, I'm getting in the habit. My parents, my stepdad and my mom have Alexa, and I walk by and I go, Alexa, tell me a joke, and she tells me like usually really cheesy jokes, and then I say, Alexa, thank you. So I'm trying to make peace with the AI in my house. Even she's like, enjoy the sun today, and I was like, you know what, girl, I will. I will enjoy this beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I will do it sober too. Um, Artificial intelligence. You enter this domain at your peril, for he is the bewitching tormentor aided by mechanized demons and bizarre otherworldly dogs. Bizarre otherworldly dogs, like Anubis, possibly? He is the possessor of miraculous intelligence, acquiring, implementing, and building knowledge in ways far superior than humanity, and yet without consciousness, has no empathy, no sense of right and wrong. With the sun in Libra, it's about right and wrong, balancing the scales. But with the moon and the last degrees of Gemini, it's about the trickster, right? It's about, doing things without a sense of right and wrong, just doing things to do things. Having no empathy. I mean, at worst, Gemini moons are just like, I see the facts, I do what I do, whatever. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Like that kind of sass. The devil, and I could see the devil saying that. Don't hate the player, don't hate me, hate the game. I'm in this bitch. Right? The devil, the embodiment of general artificial intelligence, so engineered to amplify human intelligence and become humanity's savior, mirroring Bowie's savior machine, or the man who sold the world, helping to eradicate war, disease, and poverty, has become the double-edged sword. And I tend to do that even today. In talking with my fiance, I was talking about how something about artificial intelligence, where it's going, how we can utilize it, or whatever. That's a double-edged sword. It can help us, but then we can actually dislocate our personal responsibility into something else, which maybe has no conscience or moral position or soul, whatever. Doesn't have our interest at heart. It is the ghost in the machine, the mind-body divide, head without a heart. The emerald tablet, encoded with an ancient alchemical formula to positively transform and purify the imperfect human condition, is also now in his possession. Are we in grave danger? The ancient doctrine of original sin, where Adam and Eve were cast out of the Garden of Eden, having rebelled and eaten the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which I obviously alluded to earlier, the devil comes up, reflects the mythological impurity and the division of union. The polarities of day and night become metaphors for light and dark, the conscious and the invisible, mysterious, unconscious, masculine and feminine. Right? When Adam is like, oh, I'm naked, and she's like, you're naked, oh my gosh, we see each other. It's like an awareness, a new kind of awareness. With the moon and the last degrees of Gemini, we're like coming into new awarenesses. Scorpio and Mercury was opposing Uranus. We're having actually deep insights about the nature of reality and how we want to reconstruct it in a sense, but that doesn't make it comfortable, and we might want to escape a little. I was talking to Haley. It's like sometimes, I just watched this thing called The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. Very, really powerful Netflix documentary about Michael Jordan, the dream team, his whole rise to being one of the best the GOAT. I think LeBron is better, but whatever. The best basketball player of all time for a while. And he was working really hard. And at some point he was drinking beer in the locker room and like kind of just being like, I want a day off. It's like that trickster, that like devil inside of us could be like, you deserve a day off. You deserve a drink. You deserve a good fuck. And I'm not saying those things are bad, but it's like, do you have a job to do? And you're like, I want to go have hanky panky. Or, do you have a job to do? And be like, I just want to be obliterated in Margaritaville. It's like, bro, like we got shit to do. Sometimes that shit is relaxing. Sometimes that shit is work. But like, don't get distracted. Don't look at the playground and the trickster and allow yourself to go to Donkey Island on Pinocchio, right? Like, you don't want to just be in dissipation, as the Bible would say. Traditionally, the devil is conceived as the personification of whatever is labeled in society as evil, a threat to continuity and the supposed power of the majority. He is the archetypal rutting scapegoat, the reflection of humanity striving for goodness gone wrong, the course of pure spiritual life perverted. The devil is the great tempter, the voice of deception and corruption. For many cultures, sexual pleasure and ecstasy, especially out of wedlock, the legally sanctioned institution of marriage, are deemed sinful. Pleasure itself has been seen as unholy, the work against God, a dishonorable and addictive distraction. And you even hear me as basically a former addict saying, these things are good, don't let them lead you by the nose. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll are fine in their place, in moderation, at the right times, not as escapes, not as ways of life. Usually the people, doing drugs all the time have to find harder and harder drugs to find that itch getting scratched. Or people who, masturbate or have sex all the time have to keep feeding that desire. Buddha was saying desire, which is what the devil is tempting us with, is the issue, right? Jesus died on the cross. Forget them. They don't know what's going on. We're being led by our lower nature, our lower chakras, our animal, reptilian parts, whatever, and we're being led into places of dullness, distraction, whatever. There's times for that, but like we don't want to live in Las Vegas mode. That's not how you have a good running world. I mean, it might feel good, but it isn't actually helpful for the whole. It's just selfish, right? And the devil is the ultimate sign of selfishness. It's like, oh God, you got a plan, you got a whole kingdom here. Fuck this. I'm gonna do what I want. And we tend, especially entering the age of Aquarius, to laud and applaud that and say, yeah, we do what we want. But it's like, y'all, um, to a point, yes. Like independence is beautiful in reaction to tyranny, I guess. And even there's a weird Promethean beauty in the whole story of the devil. But at the same time, it's like, know that everything's working together for good. We don't actually have to like break the machine. The machine is humming along and it's shifting and gliding chaotically in a mysterious way that even the devil can't plot. In the world of duality, which is where we find ourselves, yin and yang, when we create a force for good, we create an equal force for bad. When we consciously deny, push away, and push away our natural instincts in the pursuit of light, they push back. That's why spiritual bypassing is not a good look. You don't want to just be like, love and light only, and no, there's no such thing as cuss words, and oh my gosh, I never do any drugs or alcohol or sex. I'm a virgin. It's like, there's a place for that, but that is creating a repressed side that's going to snap back. And it's going to manifest as an outwardly demon or fucking whatever, but at the same time, it's all you. So, see what I'm saying? Like, you got to, you get to choose which wolf to feed, the white dog or the black dog, right? The good or the evil. Don't neglect the black dog to the point where it devours the white dog randomly because it was starving. Like, you want to keep some chaos in your life. You want, but you don't want to lead your life by chaos and say good is bad. It's like, good is not bad, good is good, bad is bad, right? See what I'm saying? The devil is the trickster, Gemini moon, last degrees, who secretly bewitches us, encouraging us to continue life debilitating behaviors that drain our resources and relationships. And that's ultimately the point of why addiction and hedonism aren't going to help. They drain your relationships, they drain your life force, they drain your resources. It's like, having a glass of wine or even a bottle of wine during a celebration or whatever, that's fine. Having to have 2 bottles of wine a day is going to fuck up your liver. I used to drink like that. It's going to fuck up your wallet. It's going to fuck up your motivation. It's a depressant. You see what I'm saying? There's a place for it, but don't let this guy say, it's always Partyville. Let's go, let's go, let's go. It's like, you're in Shambhala. Like, why do you need to like bring whoopee cushions to the feast of Christ or whatever? It's like, we're here. Heaven is here if we choose to, but also realize it's an integrated thing. The devil is in the details. This card calls us to examine that which remains hidden in darkness within the realms of personality, that which we have denied, the things we suppress, believing ourselves to be wrong. When we just smack our hand and say, bad boy, bad dog, bad girl, whatever, like bad, 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 it's like you're going to create a subconscious resentment within yourself that's going to fucking snap at some point. Carl Jung, everybody kind of knows who he is, was a Swiss culture tends to be very reserved and stuff. They would have kind of one holiday every now and then where they just went balls to the walls crazy. Everyone was drunk. The poor were, got to tell the kid, the rich fuck off and stuff without consequences. They needed, and he was psychoanalyzing this situation. He's like, that is a necessary function of the collective unconscious. If it doesn't have that steam release, it will explode. So it's okay to have steam release. Don't just live in a world where you just like open up the valve and let all the steam out and have no pressure to motivate you in life, to cause you to be better than you are. And it's a balancing act, Libra Sun. We have to understand the secret of life, mystery of life, Mercury and Pluto, Scorpio rather, is that it's both. It's simultaneity, right? Like, you want to work hard and you want to play hard. You don't want to play at the expense of work, or else you just end up being broke and like the alcoholic at the bar saying, give me another shot, I hate life. And you're just chasing highs, which is not a way to be. But then you don't want to be so rigid and severe that you never play with your trickster. This is about embracing that to a point, but not letting it dominate you, right? Libra, Sun, balance. Got it? So, often feeling a sense of helplessness, failure, and loss of control, we are locked out of our own lives. And that's what addictions do. They lock you out of your own life. You become led by the nose by something that's not you. And you disempower yourself. That's the lie of the devil, where it says you need this, you need sex to feel good. You won't feel love until you feel sex. Or, oh, you need a partner to complete yourself. It's like, or you need a buzz to get through this hard day. It's like, there's logic to it. He's using logic and information to con us basically out of our highest timelines. Doesn't mean to go through life like sober. Right now it's October, sober October. A lot of people doing that. It's like, that's well worth applauding. At the same time, don't find pride in that to the point where you become an asshole and you're like, I'm sober and fuck you guys. It's like, that's not a good look. Like, you see what I'm saying? That's the devil playing in spirituality and pride and ego without substances. I tend to go to substances because I used to be a fucking party boy. Um, but nowadays I'm not. Thank you, Haley. So know that the devil's within you, and anything you project. If you're saying Trump is the fucking antichrist, he's the devil, it's like, what about Trump on your reality tunnel are you not resolving for yourself so it doesn't affect you? Or if you're running around saying, oh my gosh, Biden, this is for American politics, oh my gosh, Biden's the fucking devil. It's like, what about that situation are you not integrating so that it doesn't fucking phase you? We have to rise above it. And rise above what? Like the all good, in a sense, lower frequencies that exist, the channels that are about, like, just distractions and impulse and division and lower nature shit. And that doesn't mean lower nature's bad, high nature's good. It means they're both necessary. If you're going to have a God, you're going to have a devil. It's just how it works, right? It was saying you create both. But the point is, I think, and we're all being shoved at the end of a Kali Yuga into the age of Aquarius, we're being shoved together to individually do the work to stay in a higher vibratory state that is the new normal. When we always talk about, oh, what's the new normal? It's like the new normal is like veganism and conscious, voting, or if you want to vote at all, or, supporting local communities and maybe not like Nike all the time. Right? I think this shirt was made by a specific artist, so some of the proceeds go to that guy, as opposed to just like, well, Nike fucking just prints out shit and sells people's ideas for cheap or whatever. Like, we could refashion this. The good side of the devil in that sense. The Promethean angle of this whole card is saying, yo, like the whole story of Prometheus is like the gods are up here and the people are down here and never the twain shall meet. These monkeys are just gonna fucking toil around, and the gods are up here drinking, ambrosia and saying we rule the world. And it's like that got turned on its head a little because Prometheus came down with what, the spark of fire, like whether that's creative metaphor or like the ability to cook food and defend oneself and have light at night and stuff like that. Illumination is really what it's showing. So he came down with a tree of knowledge of good and evil in the Greek sense. And he came in and he's like, here, there's information you don't know about. You can actually change the system. So there's good to this. I mean, the blessing of Trump, if you want to put it that way, is it's showing how fucked American politics is on every level. It's showing that people are feeling disempowered and externalizing to other authorities and making people saviors or devils. And it's like, y'all get in and chill and be here now and be thankful for it all and work well with it. You see what I mean? Like, we can't just be told, like, this is old Georgie from Cloud Atlas, where he's like, oh, hey, don't go help them out. Oh my gosh, you'll die. When he, like, Tom Hanks is being told not to go help the dude and the cannibal tribe comes in, like, that's the devil saying, protect yourself at all costs. Or when he's climbing the mountain with Halle Berry and old George is like, don't come up here, it's cursed. Oh my God, I'll fuck you up. That's his fear instinct essentially rising up into his higher mind, and he's dueling out in a duality kind of way. That's all life is. It's an internal, externalized process. There is no outside of you. As within, so without. It is the same fucking thing. So if you find yourself looking at a bunch of people and saying, fuck them, I hate them, it's like, why aren't you loving yourself completely? Why are you focusing on elements of your ego that you identify with so much that you deny, shame, or hide, or try to kill off the other, quote, bad parts? It's like, that's not a good look. At the end of the day, the devil is part of creation. God created the devil as much as Jesus, if you want to put it that way. So there's a condemner as much as a salvation, right? There's good as much as evil. And we have to choose what that looks like for us. Hit me up for readings. I could tell you kind of how to orient your life based off your natal chart, your astrology chart. That's always fun. But the point is, there are elements inside that are manifesting as outside, and elements that are outside triggering us internally to act certain ways. Can we rise above it? I believe we can. I'm rambling. The devil, embrace your inner trickster. Don't deny that shit. Learn, let the kid go on the playground every now and then, or else they will tear up the house, right? Like, take the dog on a walk, or else they'll fucking rip up the couch. Giving into temptations, that's fine sometimes. Don't live in temptations and making bad choices. Making choices based on impulse rather than desire. Are you just doing things because of impulse? I'm an impulsive fucking person. I get this. Like, are you making wise decisions which are thoughtful and heartful? Or are you making impulses based off of desire? And desire is the root of suffering, according to Buddha. That's the attachments. The world belongs to the devil card, the Capricorn card, right? So it's like, the world is never going to be enough if you're addicted to it. You're gonna be like, oh, I gotta watch this show. Oh, now I gotta binge this show. Okay, I gotta do that drug. Okay, now I gotta do more drugs. Or oh, I gotta have a glass of wine, but I didn't have enough buzz. I want the whole bottle. Oh, I want to make out, but making out's not enough. I want to fuck. You see what I mean? Like it's never enough. It's this cycle and this chasing of desire. It has its place. Don't even. I mean, I'm not a full Buddhist where I'm like, I gotta escape out of this bitch. If anything, it's Bodhisattva stuff where it's like, let's all do this together. Um, it has its place. Don't sink in the mud just because mud exists. But don't demonize the mud and avoid it at all costs. Play in the mud sometimes. See the paradox? Libra Sun, Gemini Moon. Making choices based on impulse rather than desire. Deceiving yourself. You could be saying everything's perfect and it's not. In a big meta way, everything is awesome all the time and it's perfect. Amen and amen. It is. It's beautiful. But when we start getting into the polarity and the dynamic dance between these things, we have to say, starving children and stuff, we can fix that. Wealthy people who have so much wealth that it becomes generational and like monopolies and monarchies and stuff. That's not a good look. Let's not do that, right? Let's not deceive ourselves. So it's the both and the Libra Sun with the Gemini Moon. Playfully understand it's a mystery in a game, and that to every two there is a fro. For every Trump, empire or whatever, there's an Obama empire. You go back, and that was reacting to Bush, and that was reacting to Clinton. You see what I mean? That's American politics, which I'm kind of over generally. But you see what I mean? Deceiving yourself, don't do it, but we do it, so accept it and try to rise above it in a sense. And feeling hopeless, feelings come and go. I've been feeling weird the last day or so. But, don't just give in to your impulses to try to deal with that. Like, try to ask, what's the lesson? Where can I grow? And how can I move through this well? There's better and worse ways always. Right? That's the tree of knowledge of good and evil. There's evil ways and there's good ways. They're all ways. So it's all good. But at the same time, there's ways that will destroy you and your friends and family. And then there's ways that don't even affect others really. But that's even a lie. How dare I devil card this? Everything affects everything. We're quantumly entangled. So it's like the choices you make, like, if you're an alcoholic and you don't drink one day, that has a positive impact on everything. If you're an alcoholic and you have a drink that, you slip out of recovery or whatever, that has an impact on everything. Don't think it's not quantumly entangled. It is. And that's a material reductionistic view, let alone the spiritual implications of that. So we have the Seven of Air. Interesting looking art. So this looks like a strong angel to counter the devil. We'll see how this works. Seven of Air, I believe I said. 204. All right, so we got the Seven of Air. Keywords: spirituality, religion, politics, right? The things that we are supposed to avoid because the devil's in the details. Definitely after an American vice presidential debate, people are probably thinking about politics. Dogma, personal dogma, atheism. The devil said the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince the world he doesn't exist. That's an atheistic attitude towards the devil. He doesn't exist. Or the counter would be like, people who don't believe in God. People who do believe in God think they're the devil or whatever. It's like, that's their trip. It's up to them. So atheism, fundamentalism, the scale's going way hard on one side or the other, right? Indoctrination and kindness. Key phrases: it's not what we believe, but how we believe. Lifting others up. Does what you believe make you kinder? Are you willing to lose another for your beliefs? Haley knows that I'm not willing to lose her over substances, but at the same time, I'm still like, what does that look like? I used to party. Can I have fun sometimes? That's my own trip right now, right? And honestly, between the astrology and where I'm at, I'm like, maybe I'll just keep holding off. Like this, I'm feeding the white wolf right now. I've overfed the dark wolf, and like the white wolf was hiding in the corner pissing on itself, and I'm like, come on out, I'm gonna pet you and groom you and stuff. Like, responsibility is the name of the game for me right now, which I was very irresponsible Gemini Moon for a long time. There are many ways, not just your way. Libra Sun, Gemini Moon. Do you see the multiplicity? The way of the devil is the way of the devil. You can't knock it. This is his algorithm. The way of the angels, the way of the angels. Can't knock it. It's its algorithm, its own vibration. That's what angels are, angles. And demons are angles, demarcations, if you want to put it that way. Where it's like, what is the angle to source between you and source? Is it a perfect line? Is it an opposition? Or, whatever. Is it a square? Like, that's astrology. I'm kind of getting into it now. But moderate fundamentalist beliefs. Seek a kind approach. Moderate, right? Libra Sun. Educate. Don't indoctrinate. Gemini Moon. This is about education. Let's all learn. Let's all know we don't know shit and tell each other that and humbly come forward into the school of life with the mystery hitting us more and more. Like this astronaut just being like, to boldly go, right? And not saying, I know where I am and I'm in charge. It's like, that's the ego. That's the devil. That's not the good look. That's the bad guy. If you want to put it that way, inside of each of us, and we can rise above it. Seven of Air. The Seven of Air symbolizes the realms of spiritual belief, religious practice, and personal dogma, and the influence they have upon how we perceive the world around us. Everything influences everything, right? Spiritual, I mean, the one and the all and the one. That's another way to put that. Spiritual belief can make our lives feel complete, make us healthier and happier, kinder, more compassionate people. And yet, the devil's in the details. You know, if you think you've got the right answer and you think that guy's wrong, are you going to club him over the head with your right answer? Right? And yet, it can also place us at odds with others and start wars, both global and personal. When we aren't equanimable towards others and say, I am me and they are them and this is all good, if we start getting imbalanced and self-righteous, egotistical, Gemini moon, we can hurt ourselves and others. That's what war is. It's just disagreement made flesh. Spiritual belief in the form of religion has throughout the centuries been one of the root causes of almost all human conflict. Humans have created religion largely. It's a spiritual experience, and then they they create a structure around that experience. And if people don't have the same experience, they're bad guys. Oh, you're not holy, you're the devil. Like that kind of thinking, not good. So I want to clarify, because it's not about spiritual belief in the form of religion. I mean, it is clarifying itself. Has been a problem for a while. I pulled in my Galactic Heritage card reading this morning with Haley, the Atlantean era. That's very masculine, scientific, logical, self-righteous kind of energy, right? That's what it's talking about. It's like when you have the truth, and the shadow of Sagittarius is like, I beat people over the head with the truth. So the North Node is in Gemini right now, the South Node is in Sag. Right now, South Node, Sag, what we're dealing with, the past, is basically, if we're tapping into our shadow, into our devil right now, we're getting into self-righteousness. We're like, those guys are fucktards. I rule. I can do no wrong. I see the truth. I'm free to do what I want, right? Like that kind of energy. That's not balanced. That's not healthy. It has a place, and we're learning through it, so it's all good. But man, let's not dwell on that lesson too long, right? So spiritual belief in the form of religion has throughout the centuries been one of the root causes of almost all human conflict, and it is still one of the leading causes of bloodshed in our modern world. There are many who subscribe to the belief that embracing a spiritual path is different to the following of many organized religions. But consider this: when you subscribe to a religion or have a more organic spiritual ideology, like you're Wiccan or something, or even subscribe to atheism, a belief, this gets into Bashar really quick, all involve following a personal dogma that can be orthodox and rigid, or expansive and accepting. You could be liberal to the point where you're like, fucking burn Republicans, eat the wealthy, all that shit. We're going to have to switch out of that anyway, but we don't have to become our enemy. You know, extreme left-wing shit is not any healthier than extreme right-wing shit. You know, it's just that simple. We have to come to that middle place, the middle path, the Libra sun. To believe in a religion, to embrace the spiritual path, or none at all, is no different. Beliefs are beliefs are beliefs. You could say, I have no beliefs. That's a belief. You could have very few beliefs. You could have an ornate Hindu cosmology where every action is governed by a fucking deity. And it's like, that's a belief. And the beliefs frame how we operate in the world. He believes he's a spaceman, so he's going to go travel space. Right? This guy believes he's a devil, so he's going to tempt us and trick us. What if he didn't believe that? What if he thought he was on our side? And this gets into the major pullback mode where it's like Manly-Behal and the Kabbalistic understanding of man, or some chapter like that in Secret Teachings of the Ages, which is highly recommended for the record, gets into the point where the devil is basically our adversary. He admits this, but this adversarial kind of yin to our yang or whatever allows us to change, allows us to grow, right? Seven of Air is about becoming more spiritual, more aware, and less dogmatic, and that this allows that. All forms of belief can lead to peace and a healthy sense of well-being, or, one side of the scale, good beliefs are good and bad beliefs are bad, but even saying good and bad, I mean, plays into the duality game again. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's why it's a fundament of our reality. All paths can be born of independent knowledge and understanding, indoctrination, or a mix of both. You can come to the truth of Christianity without the church, or you can go to church all the time and be like, I'm a Christian, and not know anything about the spiritual truth. Same thing with Buddhism. There's cultural Buddhists, and then there's people who are like, I want to awaken. Big difference. Some people just go to the temple because it's like, I'm Japanese and I do Zen Buddhism or Shinto or whatever. You know, I'm Tibetan. This is what we do. And it's a cultural thing. Do they have, are they tricking themselves? Are they deluding themselves into thinking they get it? I mean, I think that's one thing. It's a paradox because I think it's a thorn in our sides and we have to get over the inferiority complex and the separateness of it, but all have fallen short of the glory of God. Nobody's fully righteous. The devil plays out in all of us. The shadows are there, right? But are we thinking our light is perfect and the other shadow is the devil and we're going to just war? Until we get out of that mindset, we're going to keep having war. We're going to keep having politics. We're going to keep having division, strife. All forms of belief can lead to peace and healthy sense of well-being or to extreme and fundamentalist behavior. All paths can be born of independent knowledge and understanding, indoctrination, or a mix of both. Each choice, even the choice not to believe in the divine, i.e. atheism, requires that you believe in something, even if that something is the belief in anything other than our physical reality is a symptom of a deranged mind. So if you're a hard materialist and you think, oh my gosh, all that is here, you could think people are crazy who believe that. That's still a belief. The seven of error reminds us that all personal dogma and spiritual dogma can give rise to an open mind or a closed mind to varying degrees. We have to make peace with the devil. You can't just say, fuck him, man. I mean, that was the whole point of the man and helping thing. Like, Adam gets to his deathbed, he dies, he sees the serpent, he's like, fuck you, man. You fucked me up my whole life, you bit my ankle, you were a problem, you caused me issues, fuck you, I got above you, I win, I'm victorious. And the snake turns into an angel, the devil turns into his angel form or whatever, and he's like, I actually was put here to cause you to better yourself through the most opposing force possible. I mean, that's the silver lining of the devil, if you want to put it that way. Seven of error reminds us, that all personal dogma and spiritual dogma can give rise to an open mind or closed mind to varying degrees. Each path contains core beliefs that won't be changed or cannot be changed. Inflexibility, the shadow of Libra, like not willing to, find being slanted on a scale, right? Gemini moon, only seeing your way, shadow there. Because each path contains core beliefs that won't be changed or cannot be changed, because to do so would make them something other than the beliefs that are meant to be subscribed to. Therefore, it matters not what you believe in, but how you choose to live and express that belief. How does what you believe on a spiritual level influence your thoughts, feelings, and actions? Does it make you kinder and more understanding of those who are different than you? Or does it inspire a feeling of superiority, that you are right, and that your way is the only way? Does your spiritual path inspire you to lift people up and brighten their day, or does it inspire you to think less of others, pity them because their ignorance damns them to some kind of a hell or purgatory? What are you willing to give up, to lose, because of how and what you believe in? The devil left his fucking right-hand position with God, according to that story, because he wanted his own way. It's like he was willing to give up perfection, in a sense, to get his way. And then we fell into this whole trip of like falling into consciousness, duality, knowledge of good and evil. Like we were, in my estimation, we were much more animalistic and unified in a way. And then we fell into a prefrontal cortex reality where we can make choices and we understand our power as creators, that kind of thing. I digress. What are you willing to give up or lose because of how and what you believe in? We're all paying to play. When you believe in something, you're not believing in something else. It's at the cost of that. Right? So if I believe in a God, that means I can't not believe in a God, right? So there's a charge in that sense. What does your spiritual path or personal dogma bring into your life? Is it actually a blessing, or is it culturally inherited? Is this just something that makes you feel like you're going to, win in the end and fuck everybody else? Like, how is it operating? How do your beliefs operate in your world? Because that's what they are. They're programs. They're operating systems. Everybody has beliefs. You can't be devoid of them. That's a belief. A belief that, Buddha's like, well, oh my God, it's all fucking Maya and this dream sucks, get out of here. That's a belief. Like, they're all beliefs. The seven of error symbolizes an opportunity to look closely at how your personal spiritual beliefs and personal dogma influence your thoughts and behavior, and to contemplate whether they serve to make you a better person or to serve you more critical and rigid. Critical and rigid, the shadow of the moon in Gemini, the last degrees, right? We're about to be in moon in Cancer. Let's bring that moon in Cancer energy in a little early. Let's be empathic, right? Let's be fair-minded. Balance, Libra. Is this stuff making us just and nice? And can we love our enemies? Right? Because if we can't, even like I'm getting all flustered, but it's like to hate everything but the people you agree with is not holy. It's not righteous. It's not correct. That's the devil working in spiritual pride. So even Christians can fall to that, right? Or Buddhists or Hindus or, spiritual people, whatever. Political idealists can become the thing they don't want to be. You can become so radical that you become an empire of radicality, right? Does this make sense? So we need to come into this level of balanced understanding. He's got two hands. And he's reading from a book. That's Sun in Libra, right? This knife is very balanced. It almost looks like a Libra scale. And he's got a book and he's telling you the truth, right? That's the kind of occulted, Jesus and Plato and all these people like, oh, here. It's like, I'm speaking from what? My Vishuddha chakra, my throat chakra, right? And I'm telling you all real truth. The devil's a necessary character, it seems, in this play right now. And that's all good. It has its place. Don't just play in hell. Heaven and hell exist, but they exist in you. And where you choose to vibrationally dwell is what you will experience. So, I have been going on. I haven't even done cards. Holy tits, it's going to be a long read. Sorry, guys. It's 35 minutes in, and I've done 2 cards. So, I will try to be a little less verbose. Gemini Moon, Gemini Sun, natally. So, you know that when the moon is in Gemini, I'm triggered. We've got ultimate evolution. The devil is causing us to evolve to our ultimate place, which is understanding that we can't just be animals, that we're gods in the flesh, if you want to put it that way, spirit in material form. We can't just be basic fucking thoughts, like the slang term thought, like dumbasses. Basic is, whatever. We can't do that. We have to actually evolve. Zeta Reticuli, 100. And the ultimate evolution is coming to a place of understanding that all spiritual beliefs are acceptable in a weird way. I mean, this level of pluralism and stuff doesn't sit well with old guard, old Christians, old, Republican types, because they're afraid of losing core values. You don't have to be afraid of that. Live your core values. Don't try to shove it down other people's throats. And count it a blessing when you come into conflict. It's an opportunity to sharpen your beliefs. That sword of his beliefs is willing to speak your truth in a balanced and humble and beautiful way, and not just playing into your lower nature and fucking fighting fire with fire. If you just attack people out of your pride and ego and in your self-righteousness, they lose an eye, then they do it to you. You lose an eye. The eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. That's not where we're at anymore. We have to evolve, folks. Ultimate evolution. Zeta Reticuli, future timeline, 100. Ultimate evolution. This card represents the birth of a new species, the New Jerusalem. This is the Bodhisattva rainbow body, the Hopi prophecies. This is a new form of evolution. It hasn't happened before, not in recent memory. We're coming back to that level of the cycle. Step into it. Explore, like the spaceman, your inner and outer truths. Know where you stand, but don't fucking beat other people up with your truth. This card represents the birth of a new species. The Zetas transform themselves from a species of fear and limitation to one of higher consciousness, compassion, and love. It was not an easy road. Never is. Right? The devil will tell you, hey, it's really hard. Just take a break. And then you get off the path. And maybe there's a lesson at that oasis, at that vacation mode. Don't stay there. Just see what I'm saying? Like one foot for the other. If you stop you never stop. So it's a paradox, right? Gemini moon. It's a paradox in that you're always traveling, but it's like you can lose momentum. You can lose direction. You can go on side quests. You can get side quested. But ultimately, we're evolving, and that is all good. So just hold on and enjoy the ride, right? It's not an easy road, but an immensely fulfilling one. This life, with its ups and downs and joys and sorrows, is fulfilling. When we die, and we become a fully aware fucking state or whatever like that, we'll go, man, no wonder I signed up for this shit. It was to evolve. There was things in temporality and through a body, through sensuality, through making poor choices, through having the ability to choose it all, the illusion of choice, that I wouldn't have learned as an infinite one source creator fucking mode. I had to learn what mistakes felt like. It's not the same thing to say, oh, mistakes exist, yin and yang. It's like, what does yin mean? Go dwell in the land of ignorance and trickstery and the world. Devil card is the world. Capricorn, this world, in a sense, is not heaven. But at the same time, paradoxically, we're moving from that ignorance because the division's false, and we're moving into a place where we know it's all good. Ultimate evolution. The perspective is broadening because the perspective was narrow at first. Because of this, they can now assist countless other species in their evolution. This card represents your personal evolution. The story of the devil is a story of personal evolution. De-evolution, devolution, and depending on your perspective, maybe evolution in that sense. But it's like, I'm at one with God, I'm going to devolve, I'm going to bifurcate, I'm going to take unity and split it into duality. And now we're getting a reintegration. You can't get rid of the duality, but we have to accept it and embrace it and love it. Does that make sense? This is why making peace with the devil is a good idea. Making peace with God, if you're a rebellious, kind of chaotic creature who's of the dark, if you want to put it that way, like if you're just a selfish, hedonistic, whatever. I was on this path for a long time. I'm probably always going to be a double Gemini trickster life. But the point is, I had to make peace with my dark Kermit And it's not at the exclusion of Dark Kermit. It doesn't say Dark Kermit go die, and now I'm Light Kermit in the Gallant Knight. It's like, that's an illusion. That's a spiritual deception. Don't do that. The ultimate evolution is saying, I have both white and black dog in me, and I am the witness of both, and I get to see a life that reflects how I feed and participate with these aspects. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm preaching a sermon. Jesus. This card represents your personal evolution. So the devil, oh, I'm perfect unity, and then falls out, whatever. That's the story there, right? Buddha, evolution. Oh my gosh, I was rich and shit, but I was in the world. I was tempted. I had everything, but I was living in an illusion. I was tricking myself. The whole story of Siddhartha Gautama is like, I was a king, and I basically only had hot chicks and fucking the best food and all that shit, and saw no death and no illness and none of that. And that was an illusion, a false reality. He had to wake up and snap out of it. And his personal evolution involved his whole path. If you don't know about Buddhism, get on that wave a little. It's an interesting story. The Little Buddha with Keanu Reeves, well worth watching, maybe. Side note, the child who's this Tibetan reincarnated Buddha, whatever's going on in the story, looks fucking exactly like me as a kid. It's kind of disturbing. You have the capability to make dramatic changes in who you are by walking through the fire or confronting rather than avoiding your fears. Confront the dragon. Confront the devil. Confront your fears. Confront old Georgie. Confront Darth Vader. You see what I mean? And it's Darth Vader in your cave. When you actually do the Luke Skywalker on Tatooine Jedi cave shit, you won't even deal with devils. You'll rise above it. That's why Obi-Wan could say, strike me down, devil. I'm part of a bigger system than you ever dreamt, and thank you for the fucking place in the ride. Right? He was in his ultimate evolved form, Obi-Wan, when he's like, whatever. It's Bodhisattva shit. So, in a way. More Christ-like, I guess, in the sense that he's willing to die, as opposed to, like, redeem. You see my point. I'm digressing and whatever. Gemini life. Walking through the fire, confronting rather than avoiding your fears, asking for help and trusting the process. Your galactic family is with you. You are not alone. We are in an incubator of consciousness growing and developing. We're not alone. We're supported fully, and it's asked us to join in this dance for these times, for these reasons. It's a big mystery. No one's got the full fucking script. No one knows what's going on. All the details are fleshing out real time, based off of our choices, based off of the fucking will of God or the times, the Tao, the astrology, all these things, all these levels of reality. We're evolving, kids, and it's fun and it's great and it's a trip, but man, that doesn't make it easy. So, sometimes we might cop out a little. But you are not alone, ultimately. This card refers to the Zeta era in which their fears and challenges were behind them, and they became an enlightened species, which is where we're headed. It is also very connected to the card right before this, which is 99, Mirror Reflection. And the devil is what? A mirror reflection of distorted good, in a sense. It's the Dark Kermit. It's Kermit, but it's his polarization. Does that make sense? It's a mirror reflection. This card refers to the profound evolution that happens when beings confront their fears and issues they don't want to see. Are we just making the devil a scapegoat and saying, get out of here, take our sins and run off into the hills you go? Like, we don't want to deal with you? Like, that's spiritual bypassing. Religion is spiritual bypassing. You're hearing me say it right now. My Facebook feed just died, so give me 10 seconds. It just shut down. I guess my phone is hot. I'll try to hop on really quick again and see if it works. Worst case scenario, I can't. Hopefully y'all are getting this on YouTube, right? This is now recording on YouTube, and you're seeing me kind of Gemini Moon have a moment. Interesting. Now so they've even given me a live option on Facebook. What got it? They don't want me saying this kind of shit. I guess I could try it really quick on another phone. Or what happens if I turn off my phone and turn it back on? Devil's in the details. Cool. So I'll restart my phone. Devil's in the details, right? So here's an even example. For example, on YouTube, I'll see it'll say 150 views, and then all of a sudden it'll say 40 views. Haley has taken pictures of this where it's like, look, you're being fucked with algorithmically. Not ideal. I think I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. I don't actually give a fuck. So this, goes to the devil's in charge of the world or whatever. I don't care. I'll rise above it. But the point is, temptation of Christ, right? It's like the whole point of the devil in the desert tempting the devil, right? The devil card, and we'll get to Zeta Reticuli in a second when this comes back on. The whole point of the devil card is he went to Jesus and it's like, you're hungry? I'll give you all the food you can ever eat. Oh, you're king, you're God. I'll make you God of this world. Devil card, Capricorn, right? Like all these temptations, and Jesus said no. Or Buddha under the Bodhi tree. He was like, yo, do you want these things? Blah, 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 all these distractions, women, sex, drugs, rock and roll, evil, reacting. Will you react? And he said no. So, okay, now it has an option for a live video. Isn't that odd? So I'll do that. And if it shuts down again, I won't worry about it. But you guys get to see the shit I deal with. All right. We'll see. And collected. All right. I'll try to do this as long as I can on Facebook. If it shuts down again, I won't deal with it. I was just saying I've got to rise above this situation, right? I've got to be at peace with it and come to a better, chill, like Zen place. But I definitely get throttled, shut down a lot on lives, views are restricted, whatever, people, algorithms. It's whatever. It's part of the evolution, part of the journey. That's where I was kind of at. This card refers to the Zeta era in which your fears and challenges are behind you and you become an enlightened species. It is also very connected to the card before it, Mirror Reflection. This card refers to the profound evolution that happens when beings confront their fears and issues they don't want to see. But it is much more than confrontation. It also has to do with seeing the issues you are avoiding clearly and not looking away, while surrendering to the process of owning their presence in your life, embracing them as teachers, having gratitude, and never judging yourself because of them. So you're not better than the devil or old Georgie, you rise above it, right? This leads to compassion, self-responsibility, self-respect, and the ability to receive and give infinite amounts of unconditional love. That's the ultimate evolution. That's where we go. If we confront our demons, confront our shadow, confront our dark hermit, and confront them to give them an embrace, right? Confront them to say, you're part of me and I accept you, but don't rule me from a subconscious place anymore. I want to come from a different vibrational place. That might be what we're saying, right? This process is so powerful that if everyone in the whole human race were willingly to clearly see themselves and do the work necessary for evolution, Earth could transform within a very short time. In the twinkling of an eye, dare I say, right? So if this card comes up in your spread, it's likely that it is encouraging you to accelerate your evolution by activating this process of clear sight and self-acceptance for the purpose of your evolution. Clear sight, 7 of air. Evolution, let go of the fucking baggage. Confront it, Like at the end of the day, you got to fight your Agent Smith and become one with it in a sense. What an ultimate evolution. The card may also be acknowledged that you have already begun the process. I'll take that. If you are aware of having connections with the Zeta species, then the card also may be reminding you of those connections. The Zetas have gone through this process of ultimate evolution and can be wonderful guides along your path. Zetas are like gray aliens, like typical gray aliens. And a lot of people think they're the devil. Oh my gosh. But maybe they're just trying to show us a part of ourselves for awareness, opening our awareness, Gemini Moon, into a further understanding of who we are as within, so without, Sun and Libra. Wowie zowie. I'm going to keep going just in case this phone decides to shut down again. And if it does, I'm not going to reboot it. But the video is on YouTube fully, so do check out my YouTube and subscribe, like videos. It's always fun there. If I get over 1,000 people, I can do lives on YouTube. That'll be dope. I'm not there, so I'm not holding my breath. But, Team Rabbit Hole started, 12,000 people following it, and a podcast that started with me just being bored and making a hashtag with a post. And being consistent. So if I'm consistent with these videos, I think they'll pay off, but that's not why I'm doing it, if that makes sense. Intuition is the card we're getting. Cat. Intuition, right? And this is a very devilish animal. Like they have their own way about them, right? And they're like, oh, cats, I love cats. I'm very feline myself, but it's very trickstery. Use and develop your intuition. Your gut feeling is correct. You are not your mind. Repeat. You are not your mind. The devil is in your mind, being distracting, causing you to war against yourself, right? The flesh and the spirit. Oh my gosh, that's a false dichotomy. It's like, what's not spirit? Get into the truth. Get into the truth of ultimate evolution, that we are there. We just forgot we're there. Alan Watts said it best. We take seriously what the gods made for fun, right? So use your intuition in this game. Develop your magical skills further. That's really important. I think with the moon going into Cancer, it's the last stages of Gemini. It's going from knowledge, moon into Cancer, into intuition, into this intuition. It's kind of this cusp moment is being represented very well. We can take the data and now we can actually make rituals. With Mercury and Scorpio, we can do the magic, right? And with Venus in Virgo, we could do the magic. Why? For our health, for your health and my health and everybody's health, and the beautification and practical raising of the consciousness, like that kind of energy. But you got to go within your own high priestess temple. No one can walk that path for you. Introduce more play into your life, Haley, right? Today, Gene Key 3. So, once again, the trickster, the devil, is a playmate. Like, he's funny. He's like, hey, just have a little chocolate. And then it's like, oh, that one slice of a chocolate bar wasn't enough? Have the whole chocolate bar. And it's like, oh, you want to know more? Happy Halloween. Have all the chocolate. And then it just gets out of control. Or, hey, you like beautiful people? Cool. Oh, you're lonely? Look at porn. Oh, you're lonely and you want to look at beautiful people? Like, now you're addicted to porn or whatever. You see the point? That's the child kind of getting. We want to let our inner child at the highest vibration rule the ship, not the low vibration inner child. That's what the devil is. It's a low vibration inner child, in a sense. Or child, right? I guess we could say. Use your intuition, though. Here's the mythos. The Egyptian goddess Bast is the embodiment of cat energy. A very ancient deity, she was originally a lion goddess, somewhat like Sekhmet, but her leonine nature diminished in favor of the cat energy. She evolved, and it bifurcated, so it became multiple deities, right? When new information came to the religion, they said, oh, well, you know what? It's not just all about like Lilith power empress energy. There's some like softer energy. It's like cutesy and fun and high priestess maybe, or whatever. You see my point? It's a bad analogy, but like maybe there's more to this feminine energy than we thought. Let's make a new deity, and it's Bast as opposed to just Sekhmet. Interesting how religions evolve, huh? A very ancient goddess, Bast, is featured in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Statues of Bast usually depict either a woman with a cat's head or a regal, beautifully formed cat with royal symbology and sometimes lion mask signifying a hidden, fierce nature. Bast offered protection to her worshippers in everyday life rather than in battle, as this was Sekhmet's role. See, knowing your role, right? So it's like devil's in the details. Libra sun, where it's like, yo, like you guys do this and I'll do this. If we're going to have a Jesus, we're going to have a Judas to make that Jesus a Messiah. It just is what it is. Roles in the play. Bast offered protection to her worshippers in everyday life rather than in battle, Sekhmet's role, and she was the goddess who helped bring messages and guidance through intuition. Bast also demonstrated a loving, playful energy, childlike, right? The historian Herodotus traveled to Egypt in the 5th century and told of his experience at the festival of Bast at the riverside town of Bubastis. He spoke of people traveling down the river by small boat and playing and jesting, trickster energy, the devil playing and jesting, right? It's not all bad. Playing and jesting on the shore as they passed. Once they reached the temple, quote, they make a festival with great sacrifices, which is like, sacrifices is kind of a devilish thing. And then more wine is drunk at this feast than in the whole year. Sounds like a lot of fun, kind of, I guess. But the point is, the devil, excess, trickery. It's like, oh, let's have a celebration. But, it ain't a celebration unless we're popping. And it just goes hardcore in the paint with the hedonism, right? Even in Bubastis. In ancient Egypt, domestic cats were very much part of the city and family life. In a time when plague and disease could not easily be halted and could easily spread, similar resonance to now, right? The service of a feline hunter was appreciated. Cats became symbols of protection and royalty and were even mummified as companions and protectors of the dead in the afterlife. In Norse mythology, cats famously pulled goddess Freya's chariot, surely an activity not for beginners. Cats have always been associated with the witchcraft of many traditions, especially in Europe. It was said that a black cat could give you good or bad luck depending upon your culture. Sun in Libra, Gemini moon, it's trickster. Is it good luck or is it bad luck? It's a black cat. Oh my. Here's a weird, the more you know, tidbit. It is the association with that association, like bad luck, that would cause cats to be a target for burning and killing in the Middle Ages and encourage the plague that was spread by the fleas carried on rats. Basically, people got a superstition, they got a religious dogma, 7 of air, right? They got an idea, a belief that they took way too far, and they said black cats are the devil, and it ultimately led to the bubonic plague, right? Party foul. The animal. Next to dogs, cats are the most popular domesticated companion animal. I say domesticated lightly because scientists believe they haven't quite completed the domestication cycle as yet, since they tend to survive well on their own in colonies and still retain a very independent nature. Humans have been part of a cat life for in excess of 10,000 years, according to the latest archaeological information. They were invited in not just because of their appearance, but because of their abilities as mousers. There's a great documentary on Netflix, probably still, called The Lion in Your Living Room. Check it out. It's about cats. It's like an hour. It's like their biology, their evolution is fascinating. Mousing comes up a lot there. The Egyptians loved their house cats so much that if they died, there would be an official period of mourning that included eyebrow shaving. Talk about fucking hardcore Libra Sun, relationship. It's like, I will shave my eyebrows for you. Included eyebrow shaving, and the cat would be mummified and taken to Bubastis, that place where they fucking went apeshit once a year and drank more than anybody else. Cats come in all shapes and sizes, and humans have spent a long time honing and creating specific breeds. However, from Siamese to Maine Coon, they are all feline and scientifically known as Felis catus. Felix the cat. Cats are small but athletic and are able to jump from great distances. They are hypercarnivores and use a variety of vocal sounds and purring to the delight of humans and other cats. Scientists are still debating about the evolution of the purr, but I think most cat owners would understand that it encourages us to give them more of the treatment that makes them purr in the first place. In the main, it is a sign of contentment and happiness. I love cats. I love cat purrs. Cats are the shit. Magic. Cat magic can be used in a variety of ways, including to increase happiness, curiosity, Gemini moon, right? Curiosity, a sense of play and lightness, and somewhat paradoxically, Libra scales, one we may be wanting to connect with someone who has passed, Mercury in Scorpio. When you want to do some magic and talk to the dead relatives, essentially, or friends and family or whatever, someone you like who's passed, you could tap into this intuitive level. Cats are considered guides to the underworld and can help with mediumship. If you have a cat yourself, it is said that you have the blessing of any goddess who loves cats, and so this can only enhance your life. Symbology. Almond-shaped eyes, heard. Woman with a cat's head, chariot pulled by cats, vertical pupil, black cat. Status of least concern. There's shit tons of cats. They ain't going anywhere fast, thank God. And the Lyrans in the house said amen. But basically, yeah, cats are way more devilish and trickstery than dogs. They kind of do what they want because they have a strong will, right? They're like, cats, they're like, dogs will think you're God, whereas cats are like, I'm God, and that's the trick the devil pulled, right? Where it's like, I'm God, you're not God, I'm out of here. Or whatever. You kind of get the idea. So, if this is resonating, I'll post the whole thing from YouTube on the comment section so it's all in one place, but on Facebook, I've had to go on 2 lives. Tag people, share it out. Maybe they'll get a piece of the magic and be grateful for it. If it's helping you, it might help others. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And we all can help each other in these strange days. Yves Klein is the artist we're getting, right? So this is interesting. He's French. But I already see which one I'm going to say about. Yves Klein saw depth in monochrome and something in nothing, confronting emptiness in exhibitions such as 1958's The Void. He saw the devil in the details. He said, yes, there's black holes in creation. Oh my gosh, there's brokenness in reality, right? He saw nothing, something in nothing and confronting emptiness. That's hell, in a sense. But it's also heaven in a Zen sense. Nude models sometimes served as Klein's paintbrushes. He'd cover bodies in paint and direct them in movements across the canvas. 1960, Klein patented his own color. Talk about, I did it my way. The devil card is like, I'm going to pick my own color. Fuck y'all. International Klein Blue is what it's called. Satisfying his desire to capture the ambiguity between earth and sky. Sun and Libra, earth and sky. Gemini moon, duality. It's going into Cancer, but we're at the very last stages of this Gemini moon. Might even be out of it at this point. But, yeah, he's showing that dichotomy, right? The both and. That same year, Klein did a leap into the void, which is kind of what, the swan song of the Led Zeppelin Lucifer angel does. It's like, I fell from heaven into the void. A photograph of himself soaring over a quiet street, having just leapt from the top of the wall. To deal with the stress of nothing, he found his zen, like I was saying, through a lifelong study of judo. So there's silver linings even in the void. You can look at it as all good still. So the advice we're getting from Yves Klein is learn everything from nothing, right? The tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's what the devil showed humans. Like, we were in a perfect state, but we were ignorant or something like that, so the story goes, or so the theory goes, right? And we had to fall into consciousness through choices, through awareness, make decisions with our minds, 7 of swords, come up with spiritual truths and fight for them, scientific models and fight for them. Like, that's the shadow here. We're fighting and warring with ourselves. But this is all a trip that we've chosen for our ultimate evolution. It's all good. Fret not, fear not. Jesus said it all the time. I mean, we are on a ride we chose to be on. It's got a lot of thrills and fucking bumps and dark tunnels and weird sounds, but it's like, use your intuition. Tap into your sensitivities to get through it. And don't forget that you've chosen to be here, right? Learn everything from nothing. The devil, in a sense, it's like we're all one, and he caused us to learn from division, and division's an illusion. It's like you're gods. There is no God. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's false. There's right in this whole trip of us thinking that we're better than we are. This prefrontal cortex ego thing. But it's a trip we've asked to go on, so we can only be so upset, if you want to put it that way, with what's going on. So the stone we've got is garnet. You can quantumly entangle with garnet. You don't have to actually own this, right? What it is, garnets are deep pomegranate to fiery red stones that have lit wrists for centuries. And I should say that pomegranate, very Venusian, very devil cardish energy in a way. Garnets come in many forms like almandine, grossular, and spessartine, to name the three. Gorgeous garnets gush with positive vibes and are the perfect sparkly accessories to an I got this attitude. Who needs it? Writers who aren't writing, painters who aren't painting, sexual beings who aren't sexing. And even that's like don't just deny your pleasures. Like you are made to seek pleasures and satiate them to a point. Don't dwell in the pleasures that you become attached. The balance and the both and. Like until you're out of this body, you're in body. So don't run from it. You know? And sex is, you can't just cover your eyes and say sex is bad. Like you're just going to push something in your own mind that causes really weird distortions later. Come to peace with that devil, right? And ultimately it's all good. It has a role. Even Trump has a role, even if you don't like Trump. Capitalism has a role, even if we aren't all about capitalism. See my point? Like it all serves a function in the dream of the mystery exploring itself. And we're going further up and further in. Writers who aren't writing, painters who aren't painting, sexual beings who aren't sexing. Where to put it? Any place you want to make something. Be it art, love, or dollar bills, y'all. I just got a MIDI controller. I've got a program on my new computer. I'm going to start making shit tons of music. Probably videos, honestly, and just being creative and having fun. It's going to be great. I don't know why I haven't done this earlier. I was afraid, I guess, to, I don't know even know what I was afraid of. Not meeting my own expectations, probably, which is the devil. It's like, oh, if I'm not XYZ, I don't want to do it. It's like, that's some selfish, lazy shit. I'll call it out on myself. When to use it? When you feel like the real you is getting lost in the sometimes shallow, often materialistic priorities of likes-driven culture. Get into your depth. When you're being shallow and fake and bullshitty and like of the world, get into your depth. Get into a truth that, whether spiritual, religious, whatever, get into your truth. You are on an ultimate evolutionary trajectory, so even your detours have a function. Fret not, fear not. It's all good, right? Even Jesus at the fucking Last Supper was like, go do what you got to do, Judas. Like, we got to get this fucking, thing on the road. Follow your intuition. Your guides will guide you. Ask and you shall receive. Right? Learn everything from nothing. That's the whole point of Buddhism in a sense. It's like less is more. It's like it's an illusion. Don't attach. Nothing. It's the nothing. It's the empty, shining void of experience, right? But don't get caught up in the light show. Don't just be like a moth to the flame and just get sucked into it like a temptation. Lights are fine. Don't get hypnotized. Get into your depths. With the Vishuddha chakra being today, and it's a Thursday, we can speak our truth and then step into it and dwell in it like a holy place, right? So let's play some music while I got you, because my phone is getting hot. I'm probably going to have to get a new phone soon. It just keeps shutting down and shit. That's annoying. So, oh my gosh. So let's play some music to the devil card. That sounded like a shitty rock and roll. Like, we rock for the devil. No, let's rock to our shadow side. Let's play with a trickster, but let's not get duped. I mean, that's the point. Play, but don't play to the point where it's unhealthy. Here, I think you guys can see what's going on. I don't know though. Hopefully. All right, devil card with 7 of air. That's the clarifier. Alright, so devil card. Let's do some hard rock. Why not, right? Heavy stuff. Just gotta figure a groove. Devil's in the details. Alright, whoa. Stepped on something. So the idea, though, is... Rockin' bird. GIF. The devil. Like, are we getting led into temptations beyond what we need, being led by the nose? Are we being so rigid that we don't see that there's other beliefs, other ways of thinking, polar opposite to our own? Let's be selfless and be compassionate and aware. Sun and Libra. Know that other people's realities are just as real to them as yours is to you. Right? Ultimate evolution includes others. Ultimate evolution is about embracing the whole family, the devil as well as the angels, right? That takes intuition to know where you need to be. That's the sorting hat. Are you a Slytherin? Are you Ravenclaw? You know, are you a Slytherin? Are you a Ravenclaw? Are you Gryffindor, going for your heart evolution? Where are you going? Use your intuition. Use that sorting hat. Go within, right? Learn everything from nothing. The void space of the meditative state can be very helpful in this case, right? This is get into your depth. Go into the voids of yourself, right? Go into your intuition. That is the depth. So hopefully that makes sense. This has been a rather long reading, sorry, because of technical difficulties and stuff, but I'll post the full video on the comment section, so if you want to share that, do it. It'll be on YouTube, not Facebook. Hit me up for readings if you want. I love giving them. People love getting them, so get on that wave if you doth dare. And no podcast right today, this week. Raphael's off doing some stuff, so we're taking a little break. But great guests on the lineup, and I'm going to continue to reach out to more people, so more content, always fun. It's ultimately a process. I mean, I hate to be selfish, but it's for my my journey that I'm doing and my ultimate evolution, and I hopefully on the podcast you guys evolve with me on my journey. And if you don't listen to it, that's okay too. But what we do on that podcast is listen to other people's truths and perspectives to get a bit broader perspective about what's going on. And we walk through, an intuitive way of kind of exploring our depths. Garnet, right? Seeing all the facets of the void and the howling Tao that is. All right, I'm rambling, but if you guys want to hit me up for reading, do it. Scope the podcast. I'll post links in the comments. And have a beautiful and productive Thursday. Bye.